Hello and welcome back to Lotus Reverie First Nexus. Alright, last episode we did 2 main events. So, I think this episode I want to go into... Actually, you know what? Never mind that. I want exploration. Let's look at the castle's interior a bit. See what we can find. As you walk around the ground floor deeper inside the castle, you'll come across several hallways in the personal rooms of the castle members. It seems they chose those rooms to stay in because the building structure makes that area safer from the outside. As you already guessed, the rooms are locked and you can't get in anyway, except for one room in particular. The room is empty now, but the presence of a now departed occupant is still tangible in the air. It's clear someone was here until recently, the traitor. They probably forgot to tidy it up, or no one had the urge to do so. It makes sense if you think about it. There were more people in this castle before, but their fates are a mystery nobody talks about. Has this PC screen always been here? I never noticed that until now. Or maybe they don't need to do so. This room, the belongings of the person who was here before you, there's something that feels familiar. You unlock the reject spell. Okay. You leave the room and keep exploring, still mired in that weird feeling of deja vu. But you come back to reality when you find some weird cards with weird drawings lying around. Tarot? No, they seem to be something else. What is this doing here? Who knows, but better to take them for now. Of course, just grab them. Mine now. He's holding some cards. I wonder what he's playing with himself there. Do we just want to... Yeah, I think we'll have an exploration day. Castle's courtyard. The same walls, the same scenery. There's nothing much to see in the castle, so at this point taking a walk has become boring. You try to pick up some of the weapons strewn around the training ground, but nothing gives you the same feeling as the first time you held them in your hands and remembered their techniques. In any case, a shield should be easy to use. You experiment around a bit, but none of these feel like they fit your hands. Their unfamiliarity even begins to bother you. You prefer to stop and leave them for now, since the exercise has become counterproductive. Isn't there anything better you can do for entertainment? You climb the stairs up to the tower keep, and from there, you idly watch the monolith while the hours pass by. Your eyelids start to feel heavy. You drift asleep sitting on one of the parapets, your gaze still fixed on the mysterious object. What is that doing there? What is its story? No, it would be more appropriate to ask, what is your story? From the womb of the grave, all need stories to survive. From the womb to the grave, they travel, work, play, talk, and make memories to share. Even the prisoners exchange signs and gestures, giving life to a new though narrow world. Uniting the group with purpose, feeding is a function far older and more complex than our own intellect. The girl next to you watches the monolith. She raises her gaze up and up, following the structure up to the sky, only turning around when she hears a voice. Who are you? Iris. No, I mean, who are you? Where did you come from? The girl looks around confused before answering in a measured and calm tone. My name is Iris. I didn't come from nowhere. I was already here. You press your head on your forehead, trying to suppress the intense migraine pounding its way into your skull. The girl slowly moves closer, raising one of her hands in your direction. Your back hits one of the crenels, and the girl pauses for a moment. Then she reaches over to touch your forehead, checking your temperature. Did you know solitude is as lethal as smoking 15 cigarettes a day? Iris looks pleased and takes a step back. You remain paralyzed, unable to understand what is going on. The girl waits patiently and doesn't continue until your headache starts to subside. Humans need stories to survive, yet when the story is reduced to fragments, it loses its nourishment. Equivalent to junk food. When the deep symbols and themes are forgotten, the soul ends up merely exhausted. From the shortest message in a social network to a book filled with ideologies with multiple intentions. If they forget their nature and goal, their effect is no different than a base drug. It has always been like this, and it always will be. It is a story's destiny to be purified so humans can gather and tell it once again. Escaping solitude is not the same thing as not being alone. Listen deep within yourself to not lose its nutrients. Explore the chaos, for only there can you accomplish your fate. You take a deep breath, your migraine only growing worse. Why are you telling me all this? I just told you. I'm sorry, but... Iris looks even more lost than you and she lowers her head. You seem to be alone, so I brought you stories. In exchange, you tell me yours. Don't let them die. Do not forget them. The girl turns around and walks closer to the monolith, staying at the very border of the wall. Just as the prisoners tell their story, even in a limited and doomed world, so do you. Iris climbs up a cradle and keeps walking. Thinking it will live forever, that it will reach somewhere. Because stories always find a way, waiting until someday one reaches the stars. Standing at the very edge, as she takes one last step into nothingness, the girl looks at you with her index finger on her lips. Wait! Wait? What's wrong? Rose and Thistle have just arrived at the tower and are curious at the sight of you reaching out at nothing. Disoriented, you look around in every direction. It's only the two of you? Did you expect someone else? We didn't come across anybody on the way up here, so you'll probably have to wait longer for that person. You notice your lips are wet with saliva like after a nap, and the migraine has passed. This enables you to calm down. This tower only has one door to go in or out. You're so high up that it is impossible to jump down or otherwise exit any other way. Therefore... Sorry, I was sleeping and my mind drew a blank. It's getting late. See you later. You run down the stairs, leaving Thistle and Rose shrugging their shoulders as they look at each other in bewilderment. You make it down to the courtyard and look back up at the tower. If the girl jumped, she should have hit the ground around here, even if that doesn't make sense. You scratch your head and take a futile look around. After some time, you find more cards similar to the ones you picked up last time, together with some rabbit-shaped pieces that seem to belong to a tabletop game. But that has nothing to do with this. It's not what you were looking for. You press one hand to your chest and sigh. You know you won't find her again. At least not by purposely looking for her. We might stumble upon her again eventually. Check around. You have some time all to yourself. Anything you want to do? Can exchange lost items or go to the armory. You know what, let's go to the armory. You make it to the training ground armory. Everything seems to be in place, including the assault rifle. And exchange lost items? Do you want to exchange any lost item for another? No, I do not. I like the dice. Then I guess our only option is to rest. Okay, this should be enough for now. Okay, so this is basically the option. I don't really want to do anything now. Okay, off to sleep. Tension has risen a bit. What do we have? We have lots of secondary events. 3 main events, and one of them has an exclamation mark. Maybe for a battle? I don't know. Anyway, we'll do one more day of training ground, library, and maybe some exploration after that. We can do this and this. Time for some training. Spears are very useful. They really are undervalued. You can keep some distance from your enemies without losing attack power. Wonderful. You feel stronger, but you will need more time before you notice an improvement. Okay. And at the library... What was this again? First aid. Yeah, I like first aid. And what was that? That was the grenade. I want first aid and enhancement, please. This book seems complicated. Gifts reprise? Your head hurts, but this looks kind of cool. Maybe you can check it again in more detail at another time. Okay. Did we do the last exploration, Castle's Wall? Yeah, alright. You now know the castle from start to finish. There's nothing else to see. From the top of the walls you can see the world spread out before your eyes. How am I going to recover my memory if I'm trapped within these walls? Columbine mentioned how there were no cameras in this part of the castle, or to be more precise, the cameras here point inside, leaving multiple blind spots at the edges of the walls. You lean out from the wall and look down. The dizzyingly long drop means escape is not as simple as a mere jump. But it is not as dangerous as it may seem. There are climbable vines and plants on the side of one of the walls. It can't be this easy. You circle the area, making sure it truly is a blind spot. The vines themselves are slightly hidden from the eye. Is it possible nobody has realized the unique possibility presented by this location yet? You pace up and down the wall, agitated. Your heart speeds up the moment you even think about the possibility of going out from the castle. It goes against the castle regulations, but that may be precisely the reason you can't pull this thought out of your head. Just a moment, nobody is going to miss me. You sneak around the city, your 5 senses on full alert. You only need to worry about the watchers on the castle walls, but as long as you avoid main streets and move carefully, it shouldn't be an issue. That doesn't change the fear of being discovered, the tension of breaking the regulations, the danger of coming out here knowing the risks. I should go back. You have an escape route now, although you don't know how far you can make it before they realize you're gone. But exploring by your own may be worth it. Who knows what you may find? Huh? What is this? Talking about a find. Close to the wall exterior you find more game pieces and even the box of that tabletop game from before. It seems you finally gathered the entire set. Where are these things coming from anyway? Well, I guess we'll find out eventually. You are back in the castle and nobody seems to have noticed your absence. Everyone acts normal. If you want to know more about your past, if you want to have any chance of finding more about yourself, you'll have to go out there and take the risk. Just make sure you don't spend too long out there each day. Everyone else will notice if they don't see you around for too long. Okay, so only once a day. This all. Good night, Sync. Advantages of living in a castle number 23. There's so much space between rooms and the walls are so thick that you could blast music at full volume and no one else would hear a thing. Can you guess what room has loud heavy metal playing all day? In any case, what should we talk about? Let's talk about Helio. I don't care about Helio playing a prank, but the creature that you saw was... The explanation would be a bit too long for tonight, but well, we have a regulation about taking precautions before using magic on another person. We'll have to reinforce that. And you think? You looked somewhat pale after coming from that hospital. Are you sure Helio's prank wasn't that bad? Nothing else happened? We can ask. If I list them out one by one, it would inevitably bore you. We have them written down in a couple places, but you should be fine just applying some common sense. Considering how much you talk about these regulations, you don't seem to care that much about them. Isn't that what everyone does? Laws are there for when people need them. They're like the instructions book of a tabletop game. Therefore when people must consult them, but most players just use their own in-house rules on a day-to-day basis. When a problem arises, the parties will check the instruction to decide on a victor, but if the parties decide to turn a blind eye, then it's not an issue. Which means that as long as nobody gets mad, the regulations won't come bite me. Exactly. As long as you add a few new pieces of information to your common sense, such as the free people regulation for example, you should be fine. Yeah, you explained that already. Then enjoy your stay in this magnificent castle. Alright. Okay, the tension I think still has risen, but very slightly. Okay. Oh, that's... Oh, the tabletop game. Do we do walk next to the river or the tabletop game? I think today we'll do the tabletop game. Then we'll go Actually, let's do it the other way around. You know what? We'll do training ground, library, and then tabletop. Because I think tabletop in and of itself will be too long. So we'll only get one other option or opportunity in that day. So I want to almost trick the game like this, and I want to see if it's doable. Okay, training. Sword is always a safe bet for both attack and defense. And you wield it with a certain elegance. It makes you feel downright aristocratic. You can now equip more battle styles. Nice. Then in the library, and continue training these, although I'd like to check out what reject does now that I've unlocked it. Pushes the enemy with great strength. If the enemy is pushed against a wall, it will deal more damage than usual. When pushing against a wall, the damage will ignore the enemy defense. Okay. All time to study. This is a book Violet recommended before, and seems to be one of those books everyone should read. She even prepared some personalized annotations for you, and how lovely. Nice. Able to memorize more spells. Okay. Then, tabletop. Yes. Do you have any idea why I called you? No. Are you sure? You still have the chance to say the truth. Thistle's empty and serious eyes pierce through you with surgical precision. You shake your head slowly, swallowing your saliva and playing with your knees nervously. That's funny, because we have proof of the opposite. Tell me, isn't it true that you have been gathering pieces of some game? A jolt of electricity runs through your body. You found one of these pieces outside of the castle. Do they know... Do they know you broke the regulations? Am I mistaken? If I were to investigate your room or your belongings, would I find that game? Thistle stands up and looks around. You stop playing with your knees and your body instinctively shrinks. His expression says it all. He knows. Do you have the bloody game? Your gaze falls to your feet. You can't escape. It doesn't matter if it was an innocent act. Your intentions don't matter. The destiny for breaking the regulations is crystal clear. Your name must be forgotten, your life exterminated. An example of what should never be imitated. And just like that, accepting the end, you nod. See? It wasn't that hard. Thistle closes the distance between you, draping his arm on your shoulder. You should have told me sooner that you also love board games. What? That game is actually mine. I don't know how the pieces got scattered all over the place, but I'm glad you found it. Only a passionate soul of these traditional games would appreciate its value and preserve this wondrous finding instead of just throwing it away like trash. Yeah, well, what? We're talking about a jewel of the genre. Something simple and suitable for all audiences that anyone could get into without many explanations. Are you alright? You're sweating more than me, and I'm sweating a lot. No, I'm not. I need to play. Call everyone. We're having a game today. Everyone? I doubt they all will. Did I stutter, Sync? Quick and dirty. Alright. And that's how you ended up walking around the castle, looking for everyone else to play a game you don't even know. Better this than someone else asking more questions and finding out what you did, right? To be honest, you should avoid playing this game, since someone could get suspicious of you or ask a dangerous question. Still, it's not like anyone else is actually going to care enough to play this thing in the first place. Anyway, who are we going to look for? Columbine. Of course, count me in. No, wait, you're supposed to be the depressed emo. You can't just go around accepting social interactions like this. Since you asked personally and we're friends. You're not getting it. Socialization. But you're the one who asked. And Rose will be there too. No way. Just what I thought. Now imagine the things she will do if you lose. The terrible punishment she will dole out. Punishment? It could be anything from humiliation to torture. Torture? Columbine's eyes start spinning. She gets dizzy just thinking of these various scenarios and has to rest herself on the wall for a moment. Can't be helped. I'll have to go. I'm doing it for you. I hope I won't lose. The terrible things that could happen to me. Oh no, please no. Columbine moves shockingly fast, only leaving behind the echo of her creepy laugh. This girl truly needs some help. Well, better focus. Now what? Rue. Alright. Okay, I'll be straight. Why didn't you ask me to just go jump in a lake or any of the other usual remarks? Hey, who do you think I am? I don't always act out of self-interest alone. The look you give him is your wordless reply. Fine. It's a good excuse to bring the sweets out of the kitchen. Happy? You leave, shaking your head and sighing. Well, Rosemary. If it comes from the boss, how could I say no? But think about the security. We can't all abandon our post. Someone could, I don't know, modify the cameras or something. Are you questioning my invincible security system? No, it's not that. Glad you asked. You should always remain skeptical of technology. Any engineer knows that there's never a point where you've checked something enough. Thank God. That's why I've rigged it to ring my phone's alarm if something goes wrong. I'll know immediately. I'm so great, I'll never stop amazing myself. Same. Mental note, destroy the phone. Alright, time to add another victory to my list. I've just added an entry to my list of failures. Rose bounces away, confirming my theory that there is no correlation between one's intelligence and understanding of insinuations. Well, Helio. Sure thing, let's go. No, wait, I'm not done. Listen carefully for a second. Fizzler's called us to play, but it is optional. He says it would make him happy to play with everyone, but not everyone thinks the same. Even people who you may not expect. Got it? Yeah, I got it. No need to worry. I'll make sure that everyone plays it, nobody spoils the game you have worked so hard to organize. I'll go immediately to keep an eye on them. Helio dashed off, a huge dishonor to the trope of heroes always coming at the last second. What an idiot. Violet. Of course, dear. I'm sure it'll be fun. You find Violet in the middle of a cup of tea and a book, a big smile on her face as she obviously misses the point. I would like to insist that you don't really need to come along. It's not that I dislike your presence, but what excuse can I come up with? We won't allow tea, and I don't want you to leave the tea to get cold. We want to avoid the possibility of any stains, the smell, Oh, good thing this isn't tea. Eh? It isn't? And it never has been. With that, Violet takes one last sip and leaves with a satisfied smile. Then, what is it? I've been tricked all this time. Violet! The girl departs, leaving behind a mystery that will probably affect your sleep quality in the future. Just smell the remedies of what it is. Can't focus like this, but I better think of something else. Now what? Oh wait, there's nobody else. Great, everyone accepted. Just what I wanted. Oh well, I'll go for that damn game. The hall takes on a new light when you open up the game on the table and everyone takes their seats around it. It's funny how everyone looks more tense and ready now than during the normal group meetings. Although to each his own, I guess. Where's the game manual? I won't allow any of you to cheat so easily. Easy boy, I don't think anyone is going to take the risk of a punishment for a stupid game. Columbine? Columbine trips over. All cards and tokens start streaming down from her pockets. For a whole 2 minutes. What? Guys, we haven't even started yet. How are you making a scene already? I know this game. I'm actually pretty good. Though of course I'm good at every game, to be honest. This is the Silence. What? I just wanted to say that I know that Say no to copyright infringement. I wonder what trauma the boys at the boss went through to become so obsessed with this. How is copyright even an issue now? Listen, Sink, there's 2 things you should never underestimate in this life. First one is lawyers. Always lying in wait, they can smell fear. If you see one, scream and try to appear bigger than you are. That's for bears. Exactly, keep digging and you'll reach the roots. The truth you find there will open your mind to a world you previously thought impossible. What's the second thing to not underestimate? Don't ask. Cats. Here we go. Yeah, they look all cute and nice, but those little felines are only coming up with fresh new ways to mock you out. Meow, meow, open the door, and when you do, bam, they just up and leave. I'll never forgive you, cats. Long live dogs. You're right, boss. Dogs are so much better. We're tired of the endless spam of cats over the internet. Please don't egg him on. I object. Cats are way better. They take care of themselves and you don't need to take them out for walks. They are the definite pet to not have to pay attention to. Why even get a pet then? Listen here for a second. The reason why we have pets nowadays is purely for aesthetics and company. And cats win in aesthetics by a landslide. Isn't it true that it's way more common to see women wearing cat ears than dog ears? That is true. How exactly do you know that, and why does it feel incredibly creepy? I joined the dog team. Cats are always running away on their own. What an opportunist bunch. The dog will always stay by your side. Always, no matter what. That's a bit scary. Tell me that's just my imagination, please. I prefer cats. They're more useful than people think. In hospitals back in the day, they would stand on top of the beds of those who were about to die. I'd love to find one on my bed someday. I give up. I simply give up with you. It's decided then. There will never be peace between us. We'll organize the teams between dogs and cats. This isn't even a team game. The winner will decide what pet is the best. This is your game. You should... whatever. I don't know why I bother. I'm Team Parrot though. Disclaimer, none of these opinions represent my own. All pets are respectable and deserve the best care and love. Except fishes. Owning fishes is stupid and you should feel bad, you monster. This game's rules are simple. The winner will be the first player to earn a certain number of points. At the start, cards with different drawings will be distributed to all players. Just a warning, the drawings are all very absurd, like they just came out of a dream. The game is divided into turns. Each turn, one player will take the storyteller position. This storyteller has to say a phrase that describes one of their cards. Every other player then has to select one of their own cards that best matches the storyteller's chosen idea. All the cards, including the storyteller's original one, are shuffled and then the pictures on them are revealed. Without knowing which card belongs to who, everyone needs to select the card they think comes from the storyteller. At the end, it is revealed what card belonged to who and points are distributed depending on the results. I like that game. The goal is to get as many other people as possible to mistake your own card for the storyteller's. There's a trick, however. If everyone or no one picks the storyteller card, the storyteller won't gain any points. In short, the storyteller needs to find a balance, avoiding the extremes of being too obvious or too obscure. Compere. What are you talking about now? Here is this round's word, compere. Does that word even exist? It does exist. It is a real word and the reason why my strategy is perfect. I use rare and archaic words. Most people shouldn't know them, but there should be some players who heard the word once somewhere or are capable of guessing the meaning. Thistle's strategy sounds solid, in theory. You may be overestimating this group's general level of culture when it comes to words nobody in their right mind has used in the last 2 centuries. In any case, the cards are revealed to show an array of drawings that share absolutely no connections with each other. You'll have to just pick randomly, so you go with your gut and write down your vote. Those faces were priceless. Amateurs. Well, Rosemary, how did the vote go? Everyone voted for the third card. Everyone? Everyone. Thistle begins sweating profusely, though he never loses his winning smile. That's your card, right? How did you all know? What can I say? This is clearly a compere. It gives off that compere aura about it. I wanted to be wrong, I even picked at random. An obvious compere from the mountain comperes family. I saw the card and I thought, this for sure has some Latin roots, sounding all fancy. Thistle's face darkens. You can visibly see his soul slowly leaving his body. Nobody knows what a compere is, right? Everyone shakes their heads. But you all got it right somehow. Everyone nods. I see. Thistle quiets down, takes a deep breath, stands up. Screw this game, son of a... And there goes the entire table through the window. Oh wait, that explains why there were pieces of this game all over the place. In the end, it was worth playing just to solve this mystery. This game is Thistle's Memories, Chapter 6, Abstract. Then, from what I've heard, you love board games. I adore board games. They are my main hobby. There's nothing better than playing a good board game and losing. What about winning? What? Winning? I don't follow. It turns out Thistle has never won a single game in his entire life, despite his passion for the subject. That was overly dramatic music, but alright. That's why you are here. Whistler's not coming tonight. Okay. Alright, what do we go for? I think this time, actually, I've recorded for 30 minutes. You know what? Well, what do we do? Do we end it here? I kind of want to go on for a bit longer. Should we do some secondary events? Probably. Let's go for fight. Let's see how long they are. There is an unwritten rule at the training ground. Do not start using it while someone else is already there. There are only a few of you, so it is easy to find an opening, but there are times where... You, Helio, and Rue cross paths in the middle of the courtyard. I didn't know you were here. I don't want to bother, so... It's fine. There's enough space for the three of us. Uh-huh. You turn towards Rue, shocked by the fact that he's the one suggesting cooperation. Rue uses the training ground a lot, but enigmatically enough, whenever you watch him train, he doesn't seem to be doing anything special. However, every time he's finished a session, all the equipment appears to have sustained incredible damage. Nobody knows what he's doing to destroy everything like this, and he clearly has no interest in explaining it himself. If that's okay with you, you accept his proposal more out of curiosity than anything else, and that is how this freeway training begins. After a while goes by without any conflict taking place, you've already forgotten about that spark of curiosity. Helio still looks to be a bit nervous, and you personally prefer to avoid getting too close to Rue, but beyond that everything seems normal. Or that was what you thought until 1 hour later. Alright, I accept. Let's have a friendly match. The two men moved to the open area of the training ground, having challenged each other to a battle. To be honest, they both appear to be giving off friendly vibes. You're not entirely sure if it was a good idea to accept the position of judge, especially when Helio is allowed to use a sword, even if this one is blunt. Rue has no desire to use any tool or weapon. In fact, he puts his hands in his pockets, his indifferent slouching looking nothing like any battle stance you've ever seen. Are you ready? Rue simply nods, casually shrugging his shoulders. As you wish. Helio starts his offensive, moving much faster than you could have ever expected. Rue swiftly avoids the strike. The exchange of blows is entirely one-sided. Helio attacks and Rue dodges, enabling the latter to display incredible reflexes. But there is a limit to how long this can continue. Soon, Rue is forced to bring his hands out from his pockets to defend himself. He grabs Helio's weapon to pull him close, counterattacking with a powerful kick. Rue looks over to you, gesturing with his head to silently ask if that's enough to end this battle, but before you can rule anything out, I'm perfectly fine. Helio's expression sharpens and the battle takes a new turn. The boy's thrusts and stabs are forceful and calculated, diminishing the effect of Rue's reflexes and landing blows on him more frequently. But Rue acts like he doesn't care, absolutely no fear or caution appearing on his face. After each round of blows, he just looks bored. Is that all? The battle ramps up in speed and intensity. The two of them start to move around the entire training ground, rendering their clashes difficult to follow with the naked eye. In the space of just a breath, something changes. Helio's aura expands around his body, but you lose sight of them at the most crucial moment. By the time you manage to draw close enough, it's too late. You find Rue sitting on the floor. I give up. The man stands back up, shaking the dirt off his clothes with his usual deadpan expression. Helio snorts loudly and angrily drops his weapon on the floor with a clang before stumping out. You don't really understand what just happened, but as Rue passes you, he puts his hand on your shoulder. Thanks for the help, Sink. And with that, the man straight up leaves, leaving you alone. You didn't even get the chance to whisper a single word. What in the world just happened? You understand Helio better now, and Rue as well. That was short enough. What did I want? I wanted to check. Okay, these just stay the same. But I now have 4 slots, so I could train like this. Okay. I see. And at the library, I assume, yeah, it's the same. Okay. What do we do? What exactly does look around? Oh, that just removes that menu. I see. Friendship. Columbine. Life in the castle with Columbine is interesting. You don't really talk much with her, but during lunch there's Columbine. In the courtyard there's Columbine. Reading, there's Columbine. In the toilet there's Columbine's drool puddle. When going to the city there's Columbine. Playing a basketball game. Putting all your passion and sweat in that last point while you remember the faces of your friends and those who supported you during the last 342 chapters. Oh, you look so cute even when sweating buckets, Sink. The girl manages to make you fail and lose the match, and that's how your dream of success dies together with the national tournament. No wait, not that last part. All jokes aside, it's even more interesting how she's not always like that. This sort of bold behavior only happens when you're alone. Next tournament, we should allow magic for the sake of maximum fun. I think we should make sure people learn the rules first. I'm pretty sure tackling belongs in another sport. And when others gather around, the girl just disappears. What may be going through her head, I wonder? You understand Columbine better now. Okay. And one more today, probably. Sure, Fool. How long has it been, Sink? What day it is? I don't know why I even bother to ask. There's a bar in the kitchen for some reason, and sitting on the counter while stirring a very full glass, Violet shakes her head in melancholy. Oh, is it not tea again? But don't just stand there. Come sit down next to me and take a drink. And there you are, sitting next to her, not really sure about what's going on. The girl looks at her phone from time to time, letting out a long sigh. Wait, are we out of rum? Then use another bottle or something. Do I have to stay on top of everything? Are you drunk? Shh, Sink, forget about that now. We're alone in this world. You, me, and our bottle. This says cologne. Did you drink everything else already? It has alcohol, no? They just mix it a bit and there you go. The girl snatches the bottle and clumsily fills some glasses. You start to fear for your life at the possibility you might have to drink any of them, but it's not like Violet seems to care. She straight up takes a shot. If I had the chance to do something, if I knew the incident would happen, The girl keeps checking the phone between complaints and pokes the counter nervously. Who am I trying to fool? You shouldn't see me like this. No. Sink, sorry, nature calls. I don't feel so good. Violet gets up from her seat, stumbling along and clutching nearby objects for support. Your first instinct is to look for a place you can dump the contents of your glass before she makes it back. But instead you find something far more interesting. Violet forgot her phone on the counter. Someone like her has something that worries her so much. The phone isn't locked, so you manage to open it without a problem. Your hand starts to shake nervously. You look around to check if anyone's watching before you stealthily take a peek at the screen. And there it is. Surprise! You jump out of your seat and the phone flies out of your hand, just happening to drop into one of the full glasses. The words on the screen are now magnified by the clear liquid. Happy All Fool's Day. I did a few calculations and today should be the Fool's Day, more or less here in Maya. You didn't expect that, huh? But looking at other people's phones is very naughty, Don't do that again. Violet really enjoys pulling your leg. You sigh, accepting your loss. You got me. I should have suspected something from this bar thing you put up here. Plus all this fake alcohol too. I really did believe it for a second. Though, how did you drink all of this by yourself? Fake? You exchange gazes. A long silence falls over this room. You'd be better off not asking anything else. Think of it as just another prank. Alright. Thistle, not coming tonight either. Alright. something bothers you in your sleep. Even if they try to hide it, you feel the castle's tension rising. Remember that if you don't have main events to do, you may need to explore, but if you spend too much time outside the castle in the same day, the tension may rise faster too. Okay, so that'll be it for this episode. Next episode, we're definitely back to main events, although we might do one exploration, 2 main events, or 1 exploration, 1 main event, depending on how much time we've got. But we'll just have to see. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.